Welcome everybody back to another BOLDcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is HOTD Season 2, Episode 2. We are less than 100 subscribers away from me shaving my head. Once we hit 100,000 subscribers, I'll be shaving my head on a live stream for all of you to witness. Please leave a like and subscribe. Bunch of stuff happened last time. We had a really good, I think, discussion. And we're going to see the aftermath of all that. I think we should just get right into it. Leave a like and subscribe. Subscribe to see me bald. Let's go. Okay. Oh God. I'm trying to find out who did it. Throwing everybody. Where are they gathering them? In the throne room, or just they throwing everybody in dungeons? I bet a bunch of people are gonna get hit with collateral damage for this.
Yeah.
I'll kill them! I'll kill them all!
Oh God.
They dare strike at me! I am the king! Yes. Traitors and villains! This is war! I declare war!
Oh boy.
I know his, I'm not blaming him at all. It's a pretty valid reaction. It's just a part of it's really sad to see him destroy all the stuff that his dad spent his whole life making, although they didn't have much love between them, I guess. Inspecting his room. All the coins are gone.
We mustn't be shaken by this act. The child.
The child is dead. His pain is ended. But what they've done to Micah...
And they will pay for this.
Who will pay?
Whoever hand did this or caused it to be done.
And what if the hand that's done it is not who must be blamed? The gods punish us. They punish me.
For what sin? Daughter, listen to me. We will mourn as we must, but some good may yet come of this.
And where were the members of this council while the murderer threatened their king?
Were you also threatened, Your Grace?
I could have been! My son is my legacy! My son is heir to the Iron Throne! And where were you? The Lord Commander of my King's Guard.
I was abed, Your Grace, having ordered the night's watch.
Abed. Abed! Instead of safeguarding the sanctity of my family.
Know who did this soon enough.
Who did this? What? Is there any question who did this? Who will do this save the bitch queen of bastards? Fucking laughing at me! You wished her life to be spared.
If I may, Your Grace, my lord. The guard has detained someone. The man we apprehended is known to us. He's a gold cloak, noted for his brutal nature, with the child's head in a sack.
I'll kill him myself.
We do well to get what information we can from the blackguard.
We know our enemy!
A king may have more than one enemy, Your Grace. We would do well to ascertain if this is your sister's hand, or if there is a serpent nestled closer to our bosoms.
I suppose you're right, Ironrod. Could be anyone.
Oh boy.
It could be any one of
Here
you
we go.
in this room.
You mean to blame Rhaenyra? Tell the realm she has done.
I will not be seen as weak.
You're already seen as weak, Aegon.
And so you would name her monster, slayer of infants.
I would do more than that. A funeral progress. Let them see the child. Let them look upon the works of this pretender to the throne.
What? You're gonna parade a baby's beheaded corpse in the street?
I will not have my little son's body dragged through the street like a dead dog.
Not dragged, honored! Escorted to the dragon pit to be burned as a Targaryen prince. Let no one say I do not grieve. Jaehaerys was my grandson. I loved him. I will not have him die in vain. Those who declared for Rhaenyra, will they still support her when they hear of her depravity, or will they rather not renounce her?
I love Otto's character. I love his portrayal so much because I can't tell if he's telling the truth.
Now than 1,000 nights in battle. You will have your war, Your Grace, but if you wait a short time, you may yet double your strength.
Mother.
The hand sets on a difficult path, my darling, but it might be the right one.
Let the
It's
silence
really
of the
smart, even though it's
It's really
messed
smart.
up.
Yeah, it's morbid as shit.
riding.
Jesus Christ. I don't think she's up to it. I'm gonna be
Will you
honest.
be asked to ride on a wagon behind his body?
I don't want to.
Neither do I. But when a thing like this happens, a blow to the king is a blow to the realm. When the people share our grief, they draw closer to us.
But I don't want them closer. I don't know them.
Sometimes we have to pretend.
Why?
We are representatives of the throne. We have a duty. Helena, what you saw last night when you came to my room.
This is for my boy.
Where's your girl? Elephant? An elephant with its trunk down. A bad omen. Can I just say I love the detail that they're going into this with. I thought that it was gonna be like we're gonna cut back to Rhaenyra, or like the season. This solidifies like the season's way more into this side of things. Like the first season was a little bit more mixed or more towards the blacks. I'm glad they're taking their time with these scenes in particular.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. On top? Was it on top? Or was that like a... Jesus Christ. What's Laris gonna do to these guys?
I think they just caught him.
Yeah. The other guy, I guess, probably knew how to escape properly. Got out of there.
Targaryen, employed.
It's not gonna
by the
save you,
house.
buddy.
I don't know his right name.
Yeah.
Oh! That's way too clean for how it sounded, but
Yeah.
that image is... I hope they don't hit a bump,
Ugh.
because that shit's gonna come off instantly.
You gonna hurt me?
No. But I cannot vouch for his grace.
You gonna club him with that?
Ooh, they got the high... They got the high shutter speed in that shot. This is rough. This is gonna be rough in a second. Personally, I wouldn't even start with the club. I'd start with all that shit that he laid out in that little cloth. I wonder what they're thinking. I don't know if they're just like disconnected, or if they're surprised at the empathy, or like what are they taking from this? She's probably just
She
fucked
wants
up
to get out of
entirely.
there. Oh,
No, this is what I was afraid of.
No.
Whoa. Oh. Oh no.
No.
No. Just look away.
Curse of Rhaenyra, the monstrous!
Oh, Jesus.
It is yet unclear how the boy's head was severed from.
Oh, now how'd she feel about that? She didn't want this.
No.
Witness the procession.
And they are accusing me of having a hand in this.
It appears so. There have been messages sent to that effect throughout the realm.
Let me fly out on Vermax. Rhaenys is needed in the gullet and I can watch for movements from King's Landing.
No.
She's not letting her son go anywhere.
It must be said that the damage to our position is immeasurable. At a time when we most need loyalty to our cause.
But it's a lie. Having lost my own son, that I would inflict such a thing on Helena of all people, an innocent.
The death of Prince Lucerys was a shock.
A mother so aggrieved might naturally seek relief and retribution.
Are you suggesting, Sir Alfred, that my grief drove me to order the decapitation of a child?
I merely thought, perhaps, an action taken in haste.
Mind yourself.
That stare is fucking crazy.
Oh boy.
Is she about to put it together? Just like that?
Send it? I sent the Queen's vengeance for her son.
What did you tell this vengeance? Did you say to him, Damon, that a boy lies dead and I am accused of killing
Yes,
it?
I was clear in my instruction. Aemond, the brother of Aegon the Usurper. I cannot be responsible.
Cannot be responsible. Just. If Aemond was not to be found, what were your instructions then?
They did not concern in any way that of a little child.
You said that it was your
As he
own
touches
soul
his
I
face
killed.
and looks away and like...
Than anyone would do.
No.
You have wounded me.
We trust you at
my
all.
claim to
He's
the
also-
throne,
it's-
my ability to raise an army, my standing among my own council.
I said no.
You can see his eyebrows, his fucking lips are all... the side of his lips are all tense and back. It's every lying thing. He fully told them to kill that kid.
So we come to it at long last.
And Matt Smith is a crazy actor.
I cannot trust you, Damon. I've never trusted you, wholly. But now I have seen that your heart belongs only to you. And when I was a child...
I have served you faithfully.
Have you? Or have you used me as a tool with which to grasp at your stolen inheritance?
Truth hurts as he reaches for her neck. What a psycho, this guy.
Afterward, when I thought it meet to consider the terms
folly,
our
a
oath
folly.
before us.
To give up my brother's throne to the traitorous lies of
My throne, Damon! Mine! I think you used my words as an excuse to take your own revenge. To indulge the darkness you keep sheathed within you like a blade.
W. Rhaenyra.
Oh, I don't know what to think of you. I don't know what you are or who it is you serve.
I'm not on my way even now to Harrenhal to raise an army in your name, Rhaenyra. Yours.
Do you accept me as your queen and ruler? Or do you cling even now to what you think you lost?
What I think I lost.
You did not lose it, you gave it away, because you thought ever and only of your own glory, and not of my father in his grief,
Your father
who
was a
needed
coward
you.
who knew I was the stronger son, that I was the leader of men, and he was afraid to be seen in my shadow.
Is that what you understand of your own brother?
You know him better than I do. He was raised at his side. Do you believe he made you heir because of your great wisdom, because of your virtue?
How dare you?
Or did he merely use you as a tool to put me in my place because he was afraid of me? Because he knew your legacy, unlike mine, would never outshine his own?
He was not afraid of you, Damon! He could not trust you, any more than I can trust you.
He was a fool who sought greatness but shrank from spilling blood to achieve it, and I see you will suffer the same fate.
You struck down a child.
It was a mistake.
Right.
Just
Damon's-
ruin everything.
Damon sucks, but he's so interesting because he's like he'll say that fucking Viserys is a coward and a fool and all the shit, but he loves him more than anything. But like he's not lying when he says all that bad shit about him.
Yeah.
You know, it's so interesting.
Such a creepy dragon.
Yeah. I loved that whole exchange between them. That was so like just laying it all on the table like that was so crazy. But still not, you know, he's not like,
Yeah.
it's just so interesting. We gotta talk about that after.
Just immediately taking away the crib.
What do you think there, Krispy Kreme? How do you feel about this?
Have you told anyone?
What do you take me for?
One who seeks absolution.
There is none for what I've done.
What is Crispin to do when there's not a gay man to murder at the guy's wedding? Or anyone else to beat their face in? Just gotta sit there with the thoughts.
What is this? It's a reminder of yesterday, I think.
The procession was muddy. I'll replace it hence.
Do it now.
The night was long, Sir Kristen. And I had not eaten. If I could
You
just...
defy my authority, Sir Arak.
I do not.
The white cloak is a symbol of our purity. King's Guard are a sacred trust.
We so easily sully our ancient honor.
Where were you when Jaehaerys was murdered?
Oh, really?
Right.
With King Aegon. And you were not in the private quarters where you might have prevented the crime.
Where were you?
His Grace wished to entertain his companions in the throne room.
What if you thought to go upstairs?
Where were you? Oh, Commander. And why has Helena the Queen been granted no swamp? But
She should have... Your brother is a thief and a traitor to the crown.
Oh boy.
Are they just gonna leave? Yikes.
You don't know how it pains me.
How are we to know that you do not secretly share his sentence?
I denounced him before the king. We were one soul in two bodies, yes. If I'd shared his sentiments, I would have fled with him.
First, your brother betrays us. And then the young prince is murdered. On your watch.
You are mad, sir. Mad? You cannot think that I did
think
this.
has no relevance.
Then shut up.
You have brought disgrace upon our ranks.
I hate this guy.
And now you must restore it.
How am I to do that?
Am I going to kill his brother?
You will go to Dragonstone and strike down Rhaenyra in her own halls.
We are sworn to serve forthrightly, not to traffic in deception.
Put down the pretender and you will end a war before it begins.
What happened to the honor of our ancient order?
Yeah.
If they see the two of us,
You must not let that
you
happen.
would send me to my death.
Or to triumph.
I hate this dude so much.
I would laugh so hard if the other guy had like actually just gotten a haircut like the day before. He's like, oh, we can't have that happening. Better cut off all my hair.
Question her loyalty to the king.
Oh my god.
As you command. My lord.
This is why you don't have a fucking Lord Commander chosen for stupid reasons. Because he can't like go above his head to the queen or the king or anything.
Do you know where he went?
Harrenhal, I would think.
Careful with the crossbows.
Sometimes I think I hate him.
Careful with the crossbows, because not 30 or 40 years ago a prince was killed in a crossbow accident that caused this whole shit. I'm pretty sure it was King Jaehaerys's one of his sons, one of his heirs, I'm pretty sure. Where is this?
I don't know.
Is this just in King's Landing somewhere? Oh, yeah.
Daemon sent them to kill me. I was out.
You were with me. The boy is grown into a man.
No, not here. I do regret that business with Luke. I lost my temper that day.
She's fully a spy for the White Worm.
I am glad to hear it.
They used to tease me, you know. Because I was different.
I would remind you only that when princes lose their temper, it is often others who suffer. The small folk. Like me.
How was she?
Much the same.
It's the guy from Court last episode.
The king
has promised us some relief.
Who is this guy?
Did he say when?
He's got the Targaryen style hair.
I'm afraid, Hugh.
Wasn't he like the guy that was building the, whatever, the weapon?
Oh, the scorpion.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a worker, but it's like he might be another bastard,
Mm.
perhaps. Like I speculate this guy is, or both of them.
Here, Lord Corlys himself commended you for your service to him.
He did.
Will you sail with him when his ship has been repaired?
He made no offer. I'd rather he didn't, truth be told.
Do not be foolish, Alan. To serve with a sea snake is to make your fortune. Had I such a chance, I would leap at it.
That's because you haven't seen what I've seen. There is a war brewing, Adam.
Remind him of your word.
Oh, I need no favors.
But brother, he owes you. He owes us.
Yeah.
Does the stew have carrots in it?
There you go. 100%. And then cut into him with his wife.
I mistrust this silence.
For too long, I made it my aim to be of consequence. But now, I see that was the wish of a child. Damon, Otto Hightower, makes no difference. They will never accept me. I might as well have remained a whore.
How did you get that scar?
It's a dark mirror. Made her a little bit uncomfortable with how close that hit home.
Mm-hmm. Clams?
Silverwing? That was Queen Alysanne, the queen before Viserys' reign. Is that one of the...
That's not the one that Damon's daughter that was just flying out?
Oh yeah, probably.
Just
Yoink.
Yeah.
Oh, they're hanging thieves now?
Oh.
People are starting to get desperate.
Yeah, you hold that big funeral to get everyone, sympathetic, and then start hanging people up in the streets.
Who are they?
Rat catchers.
Oh.
The king's employ.
What? Just every rat catcher? Not even thieves, just indiscriminate. It's like, oh, there he is. Well, mission accomplished, but,
Oh.
yeah,
I
whatever.
hope someone better adopts that dog.
Yeah, the dog will probably get eaten.
Oh.
It's like Cersei with Tyrion, just like killing every dwarf in the Seven Kingdoms.
The rat catchers!
Oh, I had them hanged.
What about the
The
fucking
maggot who
rats?
took my son confessed to an accomplice.
Idiot!
Beware how you speak to your king, my lord.
The king is my grandson, and my grandson is a fool. He's worse than a fool. He's murdered innocent men.
And one guilty one.
And hanged them from the walls of the city for all to see.
Like, yeah, that's...
Against the king, and I will pay it back 100
They are fathers and brothers and sons. And their wives have been gathered now at our gates to weep and curse your name.
So stupid. So stupid.
With your child's blood, we bought their approval. With your mother's tears, we made a bitter sacrifice against the deprivations to come, and you've thrown it away.
Mm-hmm.
After all I've done for you, thoughtless, self-indulgent.
At least I did something. I have not answered injury to the crown with, what, wailing, currying favor with the fishwives. I will not be thought weak.
Now they're fishwives. Before it was, oh, the common people.
Through the realm, the great houses falter. They cannot but come to our side.
I wish to spill blood, not ink. We must act. Sir Kristen Cole has acted.
Otto's like, why is everything happening without me knowing?
What has Sir Kristen Cole done?
He has sent Sir Aric to slay Rhaenyra.
So, you gave up a Kingsguard to go on a suicide mission
Alone.
that he will not complete, in all likelihood.
He's pretending to be his own twin. Brilliant.
Honestly, I've never related to Otto more.
It's time the bitch queen paid a price.
Personal grudge.
Yeah.
No deeper.
This brag back without consulting me.
It's like, how do you even...
You never think of your father. His forbearance, his judiciousness,
His ability for me to control.
dignity.
Fuck dignity. I want revenge. My father is dead.
He is. And we are the poorer for it.
He was right about you.
Oh my god. You're just asking for Kristen Cole to just fucking murder you right now.
Is that what you think?
This is where Otto dies. He's gonna have him kill Otto right now.
Remove your badge, Sir Otto. You are my father's hand. Not mine.
I will die before I take the badge off. Don't say that.
You wouldn't dare.
I have dared. And I find it stimulating.
Insolent pup. You think yourself clever, but without a strong hand at your side. To guide.
Give it to Cole.
What? What?
Your Grace. In this hour, you have proven yourself of more worth than 100 men.
I feel so bad for him because he's actually
My
in
new
mourning.
hand will be a steel fist.
You will regret this.
You will
You
regret
will
this.
1,000% regret this.
You will regret this. Smart Otto. Don't go and hand it to him.
I think even he's regretting this situation.
It's so weird
You
for
are
Chris.
dismissed.
It's so weird for Kristen Cole because he just keeps doing wrong shit
I do not know if I trust you.
partially as like a self-destructive thing and then getting rewarded for it. Oh.
But I will keep the word of my...
This episode is so good.
Yeah.
Like there's so many huge scenes and like the dialogue is just crazy. Oh, man.
Oh my god. You gonna notice that?
Yeah, she
you gonna
just
say
did.
something?
She just did. She just did.
She's like, oh, I don't want to get fucking involved.
This is, well, no, she does. If she does,
Oh.
she has a spot, maybe Master of Whispers.
A moment.
Go, do it. Do it.
Please, please. I wonder if his cloak's still dirty. If he changed it out.
He's got like a falchion or like...
Oh my god.
I thought you were within.
I'm sorry, lack of vigilance. The enemy is about, good sir.
Wow. Without a
That
hitch. Oh no,
easy.
his cloak's clean. Look at that.
That easy.
Smart wearing the helmet.
Mhm.
So that nobody, like if there's any little differences. He's keeping cool right now. This is
Yeah,
harrowing.
Oh boy. Everyone's having really bad perception checks right now.
He's just chilling, I guess. Yeah.
It's been a strange day. I'm restless. I will stand this evening's duty. Sir Eric. Believe me, I had no choice. I don't understand. Do not do this.
Oh my god.
I beg you.
You are the one who betrayed us, Eric.
Oh my god.
Holy fuck. Girl, go help.
Yeah.
Go get help.
Run and find Taylor.
Oh my god.
Oh. Fuck.
Ah.
Your Grace!
Oh god.
Oh, but which one is which?
Yeah.
Your Grace!
He just got out of his armor. Oh, the locked door.
Which is Eric?
I don't know.
We were born together. You parted us! But I still love you, brother.
Oh, that was disgusting. But which one is it? Fuck.
Your Grace.
Eric.
Forgive me.
No. No.
It is ignorance and vanity. You know as well as I do that Aegon must be kept in check, as does Sir Christian, the two of them together.
Sir Christian is not temperate, but his devotion cannot be questioned if it does come to war.
He's ensured it. He's young and unschooled, his faith is in steel and bone, he has not the long view.
None of them do. Aegon is still malleable. It is the death of the child that has unstrung him.
I think she's right, but none of them have the power to change him.
Exiled from the council, witness to the blundering of our plans, I'll return to Old Town. The High Towers still have strength, and you have a son there who'll take more kindly to instruction. Daron may yet help us in weeks to come.
Daron.
Go rather to Highgarden. The Tyrells must be taken in hand. Their bannermen are wavering. While you're gone, I'll speak sense to him. His blood will cool. In time, you may yet return.
The young are peacocks, but we will yet prevail and bring forth peace, I still believe, as long as you and I hold fast.
I have sinned.
I do not wish to hear of it.
What the hell are you doing here? Did she just walk in on her son like breaking down crying and then just like leave? Isn't that such a note to end it on?
Yeah.
After everything is still going on.
He's just the, like, yeah. I never, like...
The point is, it's not just Crispin.
No.
It's not just him. Like, the fact that after all that, after everything, and after just talking with her dad about how none of them have, like, the far sight, none of them have, like, the ability to see beyond what's in front of them and, like, see the greater picture.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, yeah, none of them do, as implying that she like her dad does have the ability, and then going right back to the exact shit and trying to seek absolution, like trying to confess to her father.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't want to hear that, obviously, and it's a cop-out. It's like she wants to confess to it, but she hasn't mastered her own, you know, so she's like on both sides, like she
and yeah,
this was such a good episode, but my god.
I love it. I feel like what I liked best about this episode was, like, I hate Otto so much, and he's just consistently been, like, one of my most hated characters.
But I empathize with him so much.
Specifically in this episode, I'm just like, man, you're, like, at least you're trying to do something. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, he does things that, like, I personally don't like, but at least he's not just, like, bumbling about and, like, you know, sending people out to kill children, or like planning a twin versus twin spy mission, you know, which was like so bad. That was such a dumb idea.
I mean, it almost worked.
It almost worked, but it's...
Wait, Eric won, but he couldn't, but he defended Rhaenyra, but he couldn't live with himself, so he killed himself.
Yeah.
I thought for a second, because it works either way, that Auric prevailed in killing his brother, but then felt so emotional that he couldn't fulfill the mission and decided to kill himself instead. But no, it was Eric who just couldn't live with the fact that he killed his brother.
Yeah.
And fell on his sword.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because, like, it was a failure of a mission, but you did take out, like, the other twin, and they have, like, way more guards and stuff, so it's like...
It was a trade.
It's like, you know, yeah. But it's just still... Yeah, I didn't expect him to, like, infiltrate that far, but...
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
How are they gonna... They are identical twins. Like, there's no way to tell them, you know, apart unless you're them or you see them in the same room. So it's totally plausible that it would work out. But yeah, anyway, back to Otto. Otto consistently, we did see, like, a different side of Otto, because Otto has been so consumed and been so behind and constantly trying to catch up, and now they're on top, so to speak. Like, they're not in a perfect position, but they have the opportunities to, like, make things right. So him acting in the interest of his family and his legacy, as he always has came with some conflict, because I think he did actually care about Viserys, as, you know, we get insight into that this time. And he cares about his family as well. So it kind of colors, like, the way he acted and the way that he responded to stuff this episode kind of colors his previous actions in season 1, I think, with a lot more internal conflict, which is good. Because I think some of it was there, but, like, he was very diligent and effective with the way that he maneuvered everything and the things that he did, and it was all for the interest of, like, his side, his legacy, his daughter and her children and all that shit, and it was for all of that. But, like, the whole thing, what we see when he's talking to Aegon and they're talking about Viserys, it's clear that, like, Otto put together that this is a coup. Like, you know, like, he's not unaware of that. Like, and we kind of got that when shit was going down at the end of last season. But it's like, this just fully confirms that he he didn't believe that, you know, Viserys wanted Aegon. He'd used that as an opportunity. But what's great about the writing of his character and the portrayal of his character is that he didn't do so with no personal cost, because, you know, or conflict. You know, he is conflicted internally about these kind of choices, and it does reflect, you know, it's not so easy for him to do all these things, and, you know, it's always a big sacrifice, and he's not just a cold calculating you know, mastermind here. He is very strategic, and he does make a lot of good choices, and he knows how to make things work. But it just, so much of all of him this episode, just it really recontextualizes. I think if you watched, you could probably pick up in the performance all of like the conflict, but like this makes it clear that it's not just a performance thing. It's like in the character itself. He's very conflicted about this whole thing, but he's doing what he's got to do. And but yeah, I don't know. It's just his character is just, I like it a lot. Like I always liked his character. I always liked the portrayal. I always loved what he brought to the story. So interesting all the time, but he always kept things close to the chest, and we don't like get him. He never had like a big emotional outburst where we heard the truth or something. But it feels like this time, with the way that he was responding to everything, it really gives us a lot more insight. And I know you hate Otto. I was never in the first season on Otto's side necessarily. You could tell that he was just a big snake, but but you know, his foil of Daemon was pretty bad as well. But yeah, anyway, I always liked what he brought to the table, and I like now that it's like that there is that kind of conflict, and it's confirmed, you know, more complex than just that.
Yeah,
you know, I don't know.
I think it's also more interesting now that, like, it's like what he was saying in this. It's like, yeah, he's the king, but he's also my grandson who's being a piece of shit. And if, you know, if you're in a position where the person that's not listening to you is not also important to you, then you're willing to manipulate them or dispose of them in a certain way that, like, when it's a person that you care about, and then it's like, you know that you care about them, but you know that they also suck at the position that they've been put in, and that you put them in, and then you can't control them in the way that you thought. You know, it's just like this kind of disappointment, and there's also the sense, like, when he's leaving, it's like you can tell that he's feeling like he's just kind of too old for it, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's that feeling of, like, I thought that I could, you know, guide this in a certain way and use my knowledge and wisdom and
set things right, yeah.
and you know, guide the younger generation that doesn't know what he's doing, but I can help him. And then it's just like, maybe I don't have the energy to be dealing with these, like, young erratic people that have no foresight and have not lived at all and are just like,
I think it's not just this separate, like, oh, kids today. I think it's more, he has sacrificed so much and he's built like, literally, how long has it been since he became Hand? Like 30 years, something like that. Like, all of Viserys' reign, most of it, like, he has been slowly, as a second son, building this up and, like, you know, manipulating his daughter and, like, using her for, you know, setting shit up and, like, putting his life in danger by going to Dragonstone to get the dragon egg back from Daemon. Like, that's one example. But, like, he has been methodically setting things up meticulously in the background, totally, like, obscured and subtly, in a way that makes it seem like it just ended up this way to the outsider. He has built this up so methodically, and for his family, for his grandson to be king. Now he's there, despite the fact that he went against someone that I think did treasure as a friend. He manipulated Viserys, obviously, a lot. And I think that there's a dual thing there. It's a conflict thing where he's talking about, like, he's remembering how great it was when Viserys was king and how the world's more fucked up for it. But it's because I think a little bit is they were family, and like he thought of him as a friend, but also it was just so much easier to have somebody more manipulatable for him, or somebody that he could, like, he had power over. So, like, I think it's two parts, but what I'm saying is, like, it's it's that all of that, everything was for Aegon, and to see it like one generation down, just immediately it's getting burned to the ground, and he can't do anything. And it's like everything he worked for is now crumbling, you know?
And like how he was talking about with like with this the sacrifices thing, it's like he's sacrificing Alicent and Helena. And like they're sacrificing themselves to protect Aegon, because it wouldn't do for the population to see their king be like having a mental breakdown, but it benefits the king if they see the queen and the dowager queen having a mental breakdown and, you know, crying and wearing their mourning clothes and stuff. So it's like, and the kid as well, parading him around is like all of that for Aegon, and then he just throws it away because he's not viewing it as connected things. He's not thinking of it of like, oh yeah, we just got their favor, so I'm not going to go and string up all the rat catchers. It's like, he's just like, well, we did that, we got their favor, and now I will do this separate thing that is not going, he's not looking at it as like, when I do this, it's undoing this. He's looking at like, okay, we did that, check. Now I'm doing this, check, you know?
Yeah, he doesn't, and that's what I was saying last time, and that a lot of people, I think, they're either book readers and they're really, they see something different in the characters that I or we don't. Aegon isn't just, like, and we saw this episode as well in the dialogue, like, when he's mourning the death of his son, this, like, horrific murder of his son, so, you know, you cut him some slack for being a little bit, you know, short-sighted in general, but it's not just because of that. It's just him in general is impulsive. You know, he wants to be good, and he wants to be a good king, but one is a Targaryen, so there's that, and you know, he'll act rashly and with fire and blood, but also doesn't know what it's like to be a common person. Neither do many of the people, pretty much everybody here. Yeah, he, like you said, he doesn't see the connection between his actions, and I don't think that, I think when he's in court and with the last episode and everything, and he's just saying, oh yeah, give this, give that, whatever. It's all to make himself look good and feel right. And that's the extent of it. And not all of it comes from a place, it doesn't really come from a place of, I have empathy for people. It's that I want to be in the right. I want to be on top. I want to, you know, but not in a grander sense, just in an impulsive sense. And that's his character. He's very impulsive. And obviously with this kind of trigger, I feel like anybody would be impulsive. But especially this episode, like with Otto, I also feel like Aegon's easy to hate all the time, but I really do feel like there's like that conflict in his character a lot more. They really humanized him with this episode, especially. Yeah. I really liked that. I feel more attached to Aegon as a character and more sympathetic for him, whereas before, you know, I mean, he is a complete narcissist, and not all of that's his fault. You know, with his parents and everything. We saw this episode where he's like sitting there crying because over the loss of his son and how terrible he feels, and his mom, instead of comforting him, goes back to her room and fucks her Kingsguard. It's like, what the like it's like the people are just so, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so deliciously conflicted and selfish, you know, like I don't know how to. It's I love this show because I don't even know how to approach the web of like fucked up dynamics sometimes. Like I'm trying to like I don't know how to unravel it and like lay it all out in a way that is listenable. Like when I'm describing it, like I don't even know where I started this whole rant with, but it's just so, their family is so interesting. And then we also have separately, I want to go back to all that at some point, because I feel like we didn't get there, but we have separately Aemond like having weird like mommy issue sex with the fucking madam of the brothel and shit. Like that was a really interesting just little scene where he's like talking about regrets, and then she reminds him about the common people. And then Aemond you see as well. It's like he's not just a total badass. He's actually a little bit pathetic on the inside, and because he was bullied, and because he is just a kid as well. You know, like he's not. He's a badass and he commands the biggest dragon. He's the most powerful person in the world right now, but he is getting head pats and a lap pillow from like a quasi motherly like whore right now. You know, it's the conflict that is so interesting, and it just I just can't. I feel bad. I'm not giving any real insights right now because I'm just like, it's so interesting. And that's it. It's just so it's so difficult to untangle. And then there's the whole scene with Rhaenyra and Daemon.
Like
I don't even know where to start.
On.
I don't even know where to start with this shit. Like
when they like before this, when they were just like, "Oh, Rhaenyra, you've been accused," and like they were kind of like, you know, just tell us if you did it, you know, like it's like, okay. They're like, we can understand, we can work this out if you did it, but she just genuinely did not do it. And she's like, you can see she's so.
You can be honest with us. I mean, honestly wasn't that bad of a move. Now they're down to son. I mean, you know.
Yeah, it's like,
it's rough business, but you did a great job. I didn't do this. Right. You didn't do it.
Of course
anyway,
you
moving
didn't.
on. Yeah, it's like, of course you didn't, my queen.
Yeah, and I love that. And I love that, but like when she figures out that it was Daemon, but she doesn't just call him out in the middle of everyone else. She waits till they're away, which is kind of different because I can't like recall a specific time, but like Daemon I feel like is kind of undermining her at a lot of opportunities. He's like, oh, she's off grieving and we're here, I'm gonna like make a move, and everyone's like, and you know, and like when she was giving birth and he's like, I'm taking charge because I have this situation that like I'm gonna do something, and she could have thrown him under the bus here and put him in his place and be like, you know,
that wouldn't be a good move,
but it wouldn't be good.
That wouldn't help anything.
No, I guess what I'm saying is she's like, even in this situation where she finds out, first of all, she's still grieving. Second of all, she finds out that she's been betrayed by her husband, and he is like obviously very powerful and has a lot of influence and is unpredictable, but she can like remain calm in the moment and then just like take it back and then like deal with it later. But the thing is, she knows that she can only deal with it so far. She can't punish him really in any way. She can just say, fine, do whatever you're gonna do and I'll do whatever I'm gonna do, you know. It's because it's like she can't do anything to him, you know. And it's just kind of, I feel like it's just a really difficult situation for her character to be in because she's just so alone out there, you know, like without him actually having her back, and he's just kind of also there in it for himself. Then it's like, you know,
Daemon in that scene. Like I tried to say it, but there's just too much to say. I almost want to rewatch the whole episode just to get a better idea of like what I want to say about it. But it's just Daemon there. We talked about his opposite of Otto being like conflicted and that being revealed. We've always known that Daemon's more conflicted, and they do a thing with the show because Daemon is like the rogue prince, as George likes to say, or that's his title, but like, or his nickname, I guess. He's the rogue prince, and he's like the bad guy on the good team. You know, he's the guy on your. He's always on their side. He's not gonna full out outright betray them, but he'll go beyond his jurisdiction to do what quote unquote needs to be done. And the show does a thing where they like multiple times, like with the Air for a Day thing, they did it as well in episode 1. I think it was episode 1, maybe episode 2, of season 1. And he like it wasn't fully revealed. Like, did he say that? Was it out of like oh, your heir is dead, now I'm the heir again, and now I'm back on top type thing, and like, ooh, cheers to me being on top? Or was it actually a mournful like respecting the status of his nephew, you know, like, or did he even say that at all and it was just a complete fuckery? It was never confirmed. And like, so the show always kind of plays with like what's Daemon really thinking. That's like always what it is, because he's the rogue prince and stuff like that. But this is one of the few scenes. We gotten a couple more where like it's all laid on the table when he talks to Viserys and stuff like that. But to see that same kind of thing happen, and not going immediately to violence where he starts choking Rhaenyra, like they have a full-on dialogue but he's still not letting it go. He still doesn't fully admit to it what he did, and it's pretty clear that he did ask for them to kill the child. But because it would be a big thing. It would be a big hit to their stock. But he, but he is conflicted because he's saying all this shit about how the crown was stolen from him, and there was the scene with Corlys and Rhaenys where they have a similar conversation that like Daemon is, he's jockeying for power, and everybody's kind of looking at Daemon like he's kind of out of control. He's a loose cannon. But I think maybe the next episodes will prove us wrong, but I think that Daemon is still in a twisted way. I don't think that he thinks about all things. Like he's a full-on Targaryen. He doesn't think about things so deeply like that in regards to his emotions and his reactions to shit. I think that all the stuff that he said about Viserys being like a coward, being whatever, is true, but he has also defended Viserys, especially in the wake of his death. Like as soon as he heard, he immediately is like, that bitch killed my brother or something like that. Like, and I don't think that was just a reaction to his. I think that he really does have love for his brother, but he sees both sides. It's conflicted, like all good things in the show. And I don't know I think which side he falls on depends on the situation. I think that he does feel obviously very slighted, the fact that he is only the king consort when, Rhaenyra like stole the throne for him, but he won't admit it. But it's also like, would he even
want, like, if he had been like, it's like,
it's so interesting.
Yeah.
And I hate one thing. I love his character. I love like all the characters, even if I don't, agree with everything that everyone does all the time. I don't really have a side exactly. But like everybody always gets on us about Daemon meat riding when I don't know if have we ever like sided with Daemon?
I don't really like him, so I don't know.
I hate it because the whole conversation around our channel is like, oh my god, you always shit on Alicent, but you but you love Daemon or something, or Daemon. I enjoy Daemon's character. He's very interesting. Olivia Cook as Alicent. Alicent is such an interesting character. She's so fucked up in a subtle way, and she's played so. Everything that has to do with Alicent is like probably my favorite part of the show. If I had to pick like one narrative to stick with, like one perspective, I'm always the most like interested in what's going on with Alicent. Well, actually, that's not even true. I feel the same way about everything. I
think Alicent is really interesting because she is on like a side that I like Rhaenyra. When I see Rhaenyra doing something, I'm like, she's doing like kind of the best and the right thing in her circumstance. And then Alicent, it's like she's trying to do that, but she's kind of like she's in less of a position of power, so she has to like go about it kind of differently, And I feel like that's what kind of makes it interesting sometimes.
Yeah, well, they're kind of like opposites, where Rhaenyra is a bit more impulsive, she's more free-spirited, and they're both trying to do the right thing for their own, but like Rhaenyra is more confident and assured of herself, but also unsure of what to do exactly, whereas Alicent is like, knows the path forward. So like externally, Alicent is very assured and confident, but then about her own household and everything going on within her as a woman is fucked. Like she has so much like shame and internalized, I guess, misogyny or like different weird little shit like that. And then but Rhaenyra is very confident as a woman, but very unsure as like a ruler. So it's the way they both like, because of Alicent's character flaws, she's prone to a lot more hypocrisy, especially because they basically sprung a successful coup. They're kind of everything's on this bed of lies, and negotiating that is obviously very stressful. I think that's why that's one of the reasons why she's always trying to fuck Kristen Cole. Is because there is that that's her conflict within herself. I'm sorry. I'm not on my game as far as this discussion goes, but I just love this episode. It
was really good. It's a lot to kind of like break it down though. Like
there's a lot of character scenes in this for sure. What was this with the? So this guy is perhaps a Valyrian bastard. maybe Corlys's bastard son. It seems like that was maybe confirmed this episode, but he's digging on the shore, and then he finds a crab. And a crab is the sigil of House Celtigar, which is the third Valyrian house. There's the Targaryens, the Valerians, and then the Celtigars. And the Celtigars they're in Rhaenyra's council. But I don't know what that, if that symbology means anything, or if he just found a crab and it's just meant to show, like, another, like, this Valyrian sort of thing is hidden beneath the surface and being dug up by this guy who's potentially the bastard of a different Valyrian house. So maybe there's something there. It would be more interesting if he found a seahorse, you know, because that's the sigil of House Valerion. But then he looks up and then he sees, like, if this is Bela, he sees a relative of his, like, flying high above the sky while he's digging in the sand. You know, like, there's something there. I think there's maybe something being set up there. And with just in general with in that short scene at the docks with I guess it's this guy's Adam and then this is Alan. He's mentioned like, oh, Corlys owes us, you know, he owes you, he owes us. I'm pretty sure that's like confirming that they're bastard children of. And then after the scene, it cuts directly to Corlys and his wife.
There's definitely some implications.
100%. I think last episode there was a little bit. It was just kind of a weird vibe.
It was an awkward, yeah.
And like Corlys seemed like kind of this weird longing glance, like he wants to say something, especially as both of his children are dead. His daughter was Daemon's wife. She died, and then Laenor was Rhaenyra's husband, and he is now alive, but everybody thinks that he's dead. So if this is his bastards, and then Jace, Luke is dead, who was the heir to Driftmark as well, and Corlys's brother is dead. So like all of his heirs are dead. They're all dead. So now we have these two probably bastards, and one of them looks pretty capable. He's got scars. He saved Corlys's life, and now, like, you know, that's such a weird thing, like emotional. You know, again, there's that conflict where Corlys is all about legacy, honor, the strength of his house, building yourself up from nothing. Like that's his thing. The House Valerian doesn't have dragons. They had to build themselves up from nothing when they came to Westeros, and now they're like the most rich house in the whole fucking Seven Kingdoms. So how does that feel when you do that? You bring your house, like you're the last in this line that's bringing your house to prosperity, and all of your heirs are dead, and then you have this your one son or both of your sons, like, that you can't admit to, but are also, you know, show a great work ethic, are very strong and capable, and are also kind of building themselves up from nothing, working the docks. Like, it kind of puts, if you think about the way Corlys is feeling in that kind of lens, it really, like, how he must, that you really feel that sense of longing in him. I think when he interacts with them, probably.
Yeah, I also think that it's really interesting the way that when Rhaenyra like doesn't let her son go out on the dragon because it's too dangerous, and then sends for Daemon's daughter and sends her out.
Well, one of them's a prince and the heir to the throne, and the other one
it's just I feel like that happening like right after like the fight with Daemon is like also like I don't think that she's like vengefully like, oh, I hope that she like goes out there and dies and stuff, but it's like I don't know, like, I
think that I don't think there's anything like that behind it. I think that if anything, Rhaenyra probably genuinely really trusts her, you know. I think that's it. I think I don't know if there's much around that. I think that it's just that she's genuinely, like, her son's dead. She has one more son, and
well, she has two other little kids.
That's true. Yeah, and she's just she believes in Bela's ability to protect them. So, and she's got a crossbow here, which again, like I said, I think that there's a crossbow incident that led to the council choosing Viserys as the next king. I forget if the crossbow accident happened first or what, because I think Jaehaerys had two heirs. One of them died to a crossbow bolt accident, a hunting accident where It was just, and it wasn't like, I think there's like speculation in the books or something, or talk of like, oh, was it a planned thing to try and do something? I think it's one of those situations where maybe there's a theory around it, but it just literally was an accident and he just died of a stray bolt, which was tragic and then caused all of this shit to happen. Yeah, anyway. So it's just seeing them there when he's like walking directly, where was it? Walking directly past like where she's shooting. He's like walking down range in front of a person with a crossbow, and he's like the next heir to the throne. It was just like, yikes.
That scene when fucking Kristen Cole came in and was like, "Oh, your cloak's dirty." It's like, okay, buddy.
Look who's
like,
talking, Buster.
He's clearly,
and that's the whole point of it, right?
I know. It's just such a frustrating thing to witness to him to come in to like one of like the most loyal guys around and is just like, oh, you're disgracing us.
Yeah,
and it's like
one of the most loyal. He gave up his brother.
He killed his own brother.
Well, at this point, he separated from his twin brother, who he loved.
Yeah, but it's like that. Obviously, that hadn't happened at this point, but it shows how loyal that he was to do something that literally killed himself to the point that he had to actually kill himself to be able to deal with that. But he was willing to do that because he was so loyal. And then, yeah.
What? Wait.
Oh,
who?
what
No,
the
the
fuck
other
am
way.
I talking about?
What are you talking about?
I honestly don't even know.
No, but he was willing to. They both felt the same way about each other, but it was their honor, and it's like that their fight is so tragic because it's like what is this for?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like these guys, yeah, I don't know, and that's the whole thing. It's Alt Shift X said he posted a video today, and he's been saying it in live streams and talking about everything about. Yeah, it's all about the personal versus the political versus love versus duty, all that type of stuff. It's the theme of the whole series. But Crispin here, it's all this whole kind of episode is seeing how everybody deals with grief and what people do when they're faced with it, especially this side of it, you know?
Yeah.
And Kristen's he's an interesting character, but he's the one that I have the least sympathy for. But he is really interesting because, yeah, I guess he got named Hand of the King randomly, or did that even go through? You know, we'll see, I guess, next episode. But it's like ever since he became a Kingsguard, he keeps doing something that should just completely level his entire reputation. He should be put to death like 10 times based on the things that he did, breaking oaths, doing all this shit. And he feels so guilty about it, and that's what this is about. He feels that's I think that's his one, like, that's the conflict with him. That's the one redeeming quality in him. It's that internally he feels tortured. His spirit is fucked, and he is so ashamed of himself all the time. He is an honorable man from the get-go that over time has been dishonored himself, just to the point where that's why it hurts him so much. He wouldn't be so conflicted, and he wouldn't react this way when all this happens if he didn't care about his own honor. If he didn't have that internal core value within him, this moral code of being a Kingsguard, being an honorable knight. He's been either forced to, or has been, foolishly being pulled in directions, or made genuine mistakes, and every time they compound, and then he'll try to. It seems like I think he admitted to at one point, or we talked about it or something, but every time, like, he'll do something and then feel bad about it, and then he'll get rewarded, and then he'll just go way over the top and try to, like, tarnish himself so that, like, because it's this reaction from him. It's not just about he's an asshole necessarily. He's a piece of shit, and he, like, all this stuff. Like, another thing, I don't care how you feel. I do. It's interesting how the characters feel, but, like, at some point, whether or not you feel bad or good about something doesn't matter if you're causing destruction on people who didn't ask for it. That's how I kind of see it. So, like, his character is just really interesting. Like I don't, it sucks that he feels really bad about this, but it's really interesting how just he keeps getting rewarded for doing terrible things by his own judgment and just outside. Like he's not. When's the last time he did something he was proud of? Do you think? You know, he's climbed the ladder. He has the highest position you can achieve as a knight in the fucking world.
And it's crazy because, like, if anyone else was in charge and he pulled this maneuver, they would be like, "Okay, you are not. You're not
overstepping the boundary.
You're done."
I don't know why you
like.
think. Yeah.
I don't know who you thought gave you the authority to make such a drastic maneuver.
If Viserys heard about this, as much of a indecisive guy that he was,
absolutely
if Viserys and
not.
Otto were there, like at the top, it would be.
This would be unacceptable.
I mean, probably some subterfuge and would probably keep the information from him or something, but and, like keep things down on the down low. But like, or Joffrey, or I mean, maybe not Joffrey, one of the modern Game of Thrones people, like the fucking Kingsguard doesn't start doing political moves and ordering assassinations. That's insanity. You're like, they're purely supposed to be like a shield, and they're not supposed to be orchestrating political plans. Yeah. I also wonder, I heard that Harold Westerling, who was the Lord Commander of last season, the old guy with the beard, like the Scottish dude, he, in the books apparently just leaves. I wonder if they're going to weave him back into the show now that Kingsguard are just dying like flies. But, yeah.
I was going to say something. Oh, yeah. I also am really interested to see what Larys is gonna do if he finds out that this fucking moron has been named Hand of the King when he was like, because he put the idea in his head of like, oh, well, Otto was your father's hand and he was seen as weak because of that. So you should get a new hand. Clearly, like, I should be your hand.
Yeah.
And then like Aegon just didn't pick up on that part at all, but it really stuck with him.
Yeah.
Like he heard the one line and then was like, "That's all I needed to hear." And so I'm really interested, like what, because Larys isn't just gonna be like, "Oh, too bad I failed. I guess I'll go home." So I'm interested to see, because he's kind of been like lurking around in the background for the first 2 episodes. I'm interested if next episode he's going to make some sort of move or put himself in a position where this travesty can kind of be remedied and maybe get back onto like, what he wants the course to be. Because Kristen Cole being hand to Aegon it's really not good for anyone, like, at all. In any sense. It's not good for anyone.
Yeah. I'm honestly completely separately, not really. Actually, it's kind of connected to that, because it'll just be way more impulsive if Kristen Cole becomes the hand. But it's really interesting to see how far people's reluctance has carried, because the way the last season ended off with Luke dying, and then Rhaenyra like looks at the camera super angry, ready to burn the world to the ground, and then next season she's like, now we're episode 2, she's like pretty well level head. She's like keeping a very clear head despite the circumstances, despite losing a child, and having betrayals within her midst. And then she's like, she doesn't want, and she wouldn't want it even if it was Aemond.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to sully her own reputation, but also I think there is still like a let's relax, and I think Alicent kind of feels the same way. She's trying to, everybody's still trying to do caution. But then there's like just this fucking encroaching bloodlust that's just beating down the door. And it's kind of crazy that there's even that reluctance for bloodshed still. And they never, like whenever like Rhaenyra or people are talking about that, they're not really talking. Do they mention the common people? I don't think that's like their concern, which is consistent, but it's like that they're not like reluctant to start a war because it would hurt the common people. They're reluctant to start a war because of, again, this love versus duty type thing. This like, and also, like we saw last episode, Alicent's still lighting candles for the other side. Like after all of this, it's still not. And Aegon was sitting there throwing shit around the room and is super pissed at Rhaenyra and blames her immediately. I think Alicent is like not sure about that,
Yeah, like you know, they're, and everyone else
I
is
think
like, oh,
she's
it could be someone else, and it's like, well, it's probably not someone else, but it's also this thing of like, it's not really Rhaenyra's style, you know, but
Yeah.
even though it does make sense,
think they
and
know
it
that,
and
yeah.
it like clearly was from her side, but it's like, you know,
I think it's like with Viserys and the dream thing. It's like, oh, Aegon, and then Otto knew the whole time. It wasn't just, you know, maybe not. He's pretty confident that Viserys never named Aegon, but he kind of ran with it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a kind of similar thing. I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing there,
Yeah.
where he's just like, well, past is past. What can we do now? What's the way forward? You
Mhm.
know? Just this episode was so good.
it's-
I might have to rewatch this one because
it's
this
also
is so goddamn good.
interesting. Like talking about that, it's like there, like everything is so reactionary.
Yeah.
and that's what's really interesting about it, because the people that are like making moves are not really like the. Like, I don't know, just the moves are on such a small scale, or are made by the wrong person, or are like blown out of proportion by someone, and then it causes other people to like, even if they don't actually retaliate, they do something else that you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like Rhaenyra wasn't actually going to go and retaliate against them right away. She was going to like, you know, she like obviously she.
I think they want their best case scenario is to fight honorably on the field
Yeah.
of battle, and like
But
have a
little
clean war.
shit just keeps
a clean
happening.
War,
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it's way more complicated than just like, okay, we rallied our houses and now we meet on this field and we fucking fight, and then we break through your lines and we go to your castle and then we siege for a year and then we, you know, like, but that's their best. I mean, their best case scenario would be everybody just, you know, has a heart attack and dies. But like, I think everybody is kind of upset. I mean, clearly, but like, everybody's kind of upset at like how complicated this is getting, and it's just, you know, understandably. But it's, you know, what would their I guess I'm saying like, what would their perfect war of succession look like? You know?
Yeah.
I think it would look like we gather our banners, we, you know, and then we sue for
Mhm.
peace.
And
you
I
know, we
th-
send a
yeah.
messenger, and then they sign the treaty saying we'll step
Yeah.
down, and then we just, you know, banish them to the fucking across the narrow sea or
Mhm.
something, or back to
And yeah,
wherever.
that's the thing. Is like both Alicent and Rhaenyra are still in that thing of like, oh, I wish that they would just
yeah.
stop. Like,
I think
it's
they're
like,
trying.
it's
I want to apply the most amount of pressure without doing something that I'm going to regret.
exactly.
You know? Like,
It's like, you know, is there a way that we can win this without just having to kill all of them? You know, it's like, and then it's like, how far is too far? It's like, okay, well, they killed my child, and then it's like, okay, I don't like that, but like, I can, in some type of world, move past it and take the throne, punish the person, singular, responsible for that, and, you know, we don't have to murder their entire bloodline. And it's, you know, it's the...
well, it's there. Sorry.
And then someone like Daemon is like, oh, well, if we murder their entire bloodline, that probably will happen anyway, so might as well, you know,
yeah, I mean,
get
if
it
we're going
started.
to war, they'll all have to die. And then
Yeah.
Otto's kind of the same way, and they kind of play a similar role. But yeah, it's important to remember that in the world of Westeros, kind of in the real world, but like especially it's talked about a lot in the series, that kinslaying is like one of the ultimate sins. So that makes wars like this, where families are like fighting each other, very difficult, because if you're a ruler and your family member, you know, murders a bunch of people or something in town one day, he just gets drunk and goes and kills people in the village square, or kills another noble or something and does like some bad shit that's like worth punishment, you can sentence them to death because they're like a criminal. But like, there's always, no matter what it is, there's always the stain of you betrayed your family, and you know, killing on the field of battle. Like if your family member betrays you and you meet on the field of battle, if you kill them, that's kind of like a stain on you forever, no matter what they did to deserve it. Really, it's like, it's kinslaying. It's your kin, your blood is on your hands, essentially. It's terrible. So that's why Daemon doing that, it's not just like a calculated assassination move, you know, a political thing or a wartime thing. It's like a spiritual stain. It's a spiritual affront, and something that is unforgivable, basically.
Yeah.
it's like an oath-breaking type thing. Which, I mean, on a fundamental level is kind of true in real life as well, but it's more true here in the story as it's presented. So, like, that's why all the stuff with Damon doing what he's doing is bad. That's why all of them are reluctant from the get-go to just do stuff like that, to just go out to war and kill everyone. Even if Aegon is, like, screaming, "I want her fucking head," that, it makes sense emotionally. But there's always this kind of barrier of, like, if I kill my sister, or if I kill my brother just outright, or just, like, burn their castle to the ground with a big assault, then that looks really bad on me, and people are gonna be revolting against me if I like they might not want to be on my side if I do something like that, because it's unforgivable. So it's something really important to remember, that there is kind of that wall there. That's Lord Celtigar, by the way, not that guy. Not that guy, not that guy. Where is he? That guy. You can see he has the little crabs there. Anyway. I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface a lot of it. Can we just go through and just try scene by scene to get what we can? Oh, so Aemond was getting fucked as well, just like his mom. When the assassination attempt happened, that's why he was going around his room, and he was with the whore lady. And because he was gone, then his nephew died instead.
Yeah, and that's kind of a messed up thing there. When he comes back and sees that all of his stuff is gone, then he knows that they came into his room first. And, like, feels guilty about that, because it's like, if he had been there, honestly, like, depending on the state that he was in, I mean, if they came in when him and Kristen Cole were both in there, it would be game over immediately.
They're, like, both master
not even a
swordsmen.
scratch would be on either of them. And because he made the decision to go out, I think that's kind of interesting as well. And, like, when we see him later and he's all, like, curled up, it's like he's... it's not necessarily his fault because he didn't know, but because he wasn't there, the kid died.
Yeah. Again, it's not so easy. There's no, like, easy emotions to process. It's all very complicated. Oh, her acting in this scene was so... Olivia Cooke is fucking next, like, so many of the people here, I think. But, like, Olivia Cooke, at some points, just, like, the way she says stuff. Like, when she was at last episode, when she was asking people to leave when she was in the bath, she was like, just leave me. And it's like, the stuttering, like, she really gives it, you know what I mean? Oh, it's so good. And the way she just cries, it feels like she's not just a character. She's, and just this stance, she really, she's exhausted by grief and, like, how terrible this is in a way that's realistic for a mother, like, it feels authentic in a non-actory way, in a not, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just exhausting. And yeah, this whole thing. Yeah, I'd like to read it. I do really, I enjoy Aegon a lot more going forward, because he has I feel like maybe what it is he had a lot of angst, and now he has a purpose, I think. And it came in a way that he wasn't expecting. He had a lot of angst before he was king, and now that he's been king, he's been enjoying that and feeling very validated and gratified, and then it's been challenged, and also he's had something taken away from him. And so he's gone through a significant bit of character development in a way that, like, a real person would do. If these sorts of things happen to them, if they inherited their father's business and they, had a child that was, killed or something, he's going through a very realistic growth. It's just very exaggerated because he has done monstrous things. If you count, like, him not knowing that he has bastard children that are, like, having their teeth and claws sharpened to fight in a pit and watching it, and in the books apparently he's also a pedophile, which I guess in the world of Westeros is not uncommon, and everything, and in history I guess as well, as far as rulers go. But regardless, it's so all of that is it's the extremes of what a real person might feel in a similar sort of comparable, on a much less scale. Like, the emotions are human emotions, is what I'm saying. You know, even as monstrous as he is, it's very extreme, but what he's feeling and how he's reacting feel, I guess, earned. And I'm going to be really interested to see how his character evolves going forward. Now that he has been, you know, he's going through like real character development. And the fact that it's not solved, the fact that he's not just evil, angry, I mean, not evil, but like angry, bitter, enraged king all the time, that he's crying in his room alone. And it genuinely feels terrible about it. I think that's an important thing. I think that scene is really important, where Allison walks in on him crying and then leaves. First of all, that action is very wow, but also just the fact that he's there alone feeling terrible about it and not asking for anybody to pity him. You know, he's there alone feeling that. He's not screaming in a room full of people making a big deal about it. He's feeling that sadness by himself, just for him. So I think that is very important to help us, you know, not forgive and forget about the things that we know he has done in the past and all the stuff that he did before he became king and whatever else. It's that, you know, it lets us see him in a human light, and I think they did a good job. But that scene in particular was very important, especially because Allison just leaves without saying anything to him. And this as well is also very interesting, where Helena is asking all the right questions and has all the right things to say, just like she always does. So Allison's just like, we got to do this. I don't want to. And she's like, but we have to. Why? Like, why do I have to do this? I don't want it. She doesn't want any of this. I do find it weird on a show level. Maybe it's a child actor thing. Why isn't she clutching her daughter all the time from now on? You know, like that's my only thing that's a little bit unrealistic, is that she is not always with her other child every second. That's my only thing. That's my only like criticism of that. There's no reason why she should be, especially the day after, that she should be separated ever from her kid. After basically being around one of them.
I mean, it could be like in the beginning she was so focused on her daughter and holding her, and then here, I think now, like after the initial. I mean,
unless her daughter's just laying there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just looking at this and how she's clutching the thing that was for her son. It seems like she was very focused on her daughter and saving her in the initial, like, attack. And then now that she's had time to think about it, now she is like mourning her son in a way that like she had to sacrifice him and like not think about him too much in that moment, so that, you know, her and her daughter could survive, because if she tried to save him, then all three of them could have gotten killed, you know. So
I'm not saying it's a character thing. I'm saying like I'm not saying that it's a character thing. It feels like a scene, you know, time thing. Like they didn't have enough time for them to start the scene with them being with her daughter and then going into another room to have an adult conversation. It just feels weird that the day after your child dies, and is murdered in front of you, that you would even let your other child out of your sight for a second, you know? Does that
I mean, she is also, I just noticing now, she is in the nursery here, so she probably also wouldn't want to bring her daughter back into the nursery where her son just got killed the night before.
That's true, but I'm saying, why is she separating herself from her only surviving child after she just watched her child get their head fucking cut off in front of her? You know, like, I just feel like that, in what universe would the day after you watch your child get decapitated in front of you, do you even let your other child out of your sight for even a moment? You know, I don't know. Is that unreasonable?
No.
Is that an unreasonable thing to think that it's you know, you just watch your child get decapitated in front of you, and then I don't know. Oh, and these are like similar toys as well that Rhaenyra's kids were playing with, I thought. Where was that? Because she picked up the elephant. And I was like, oh, elephant. But these are at least similar. They might just be the same props in real life, but this dragon here looks like the same dragon.
I feel like also with that, because they're playing with the same toys, it's like, oh, they're such a similar age, and that's why when we see that scene with Rhaenyra, like we see Helena here like picking them up and like, oh, my kid used to play with these, and then we see Rhaenyra taking the opportunity to play with her kids with those same toys, because the same thing could happen to them, and she's like thinking about that, you know.
Yeah, I felt the same way when we got to that scene, wherever it was. I can't really find it, but it was like a sort of scene change scene, but so small I can't really find it. But yeah, I felt exactly. That's exactly what it is. She's playing with them and like is really, you know, going through the feelings of what if this happened to them, and also a little bit of guilt that, you know, you're this thing that you're going through, this family civil war is like, oh, here it is, you know, could have just as easily been one of them, or, you know, will it be one of them? And also, what they're alive while the other kid gets killed, you know, as just a casualty of war. That's how it goes, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, this scene when like Helena was like trying to she was just like barely holding it together, and she just like was just trying to like escape out of that situation, and all the people are like, and it's just all like pressing around. That was a really like horrific and uncomfortable scene, you know, like very claustrophobic.
Yeah. It was very I wasn't really sure what they were going for as far as like their like obviously it's just a traumatic situation in general. I think that got across, obviously. But it's like when she's looking up at them, and it's like, is she disgusted by them? Is she just like what is she's looking up at the flowers getting thrown down? Does she think like, is there superiority? Is there like or is it a general, I think, just a general sort of what the fuck is going on type feeling of like, what, this is so strange. And then obviously the panic attack sets in. But like just the idea of this, like what is happening right now? Like what, this doesn't make any sense type thing.
Yeah. It's also really interesting, her and Alicent's relationship, and Alicent, you know, all of the things that Alicent has done to like put her son on the throne basically, but how her daughter is kind of a casualty of that and has to keep being a casualty of that. And like she was saying, she's like, the boy's dead. He doesn't feel anything. He's dead. But like my daughter is dealing with this all because of what her other sons have been doing basically, you know, and things that she's done. It's just, it's just interesting to have like, because Alicent has like, you know, maneuvered and done things, but Helena has done nothing. She's a complete, her and her children are just complete sacrifices or casualties, or you know, they haven't done anything other than just exist and be born into the wrong family.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of that's one theme that Game of Thrones was touched on a little bit, and like, you know, generally the sins of the father, sins of the son type thing. But this series is far more interested in that of, you know, that's the same thing that happened with Rhaenyra and Alicent, and you know, and in a way Viserys and Rhaenys, and it's this constant generational trauma and this baggage that's just put upon the children, despite them not, you know, wanting it at all. And I remember feeling that very strongly when Harwin Strong was still around before he got killed, and when we first met like grown-up Aemond, and he was like fighting in the yard with Kristen Cole and like training and stuff like that, and just this feeling of like, after that little time skip where it was just like, oh god, things are escalating for what feels like almost no reason. Like there's just this baggage and this shit that's just getting shoveled down the stairs to the next generation. Yeah. And it's happening again after Alicent and Rhaenyra went through all of that and took all of that on and didn't want it to continue, but, you know, had their own interests or had their own boundaries, and now they're doing the same thing to their kids, and this is what it is. And you know, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucked. I still feel like we haven't covered everything in the episode, even though we've been talking for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But we should probably just end it there, I think.
Probably.
The White Worm, what about her? She might become Spy Master.
Mm-hmm. Too bad she didn't act just a little bit faster, you know. But
I mean, what was she gonna do? Stop him there and fight the Kingsguard herself? But that when she was talking about her history and about how Otto and Damon like just basically used her to the point where she feels like she has nothing left in her, or whatever she said exactly, and then Rhaenyra's just like, okay, this is too real. Get the fuck out of my room. Like, it felt like Massaria just like spoke into existence all of the cause of all of her problems, or just like, just this deep, you know, not again, this uncertainty, this insecurity within her, and the fact that she sees that in this person that she is supposed to be mad at, but you know, at the end of the day has no reason to be, because she's just trying to survive, and she had everything taken from her by the High Towers as well. You know, as different perspectives, obviously there's blame on both sides, as is the case in everything here. But it's just like she resonated a little bit too hard with what she was saying, to the point where it was just a little bit uncomfortable. Oh, and that dog.
Yeah, poor dog.
Poor dog. That dog's definitely getting eaten. People are starving. And then, there was one more scene.
Are we gonna get like overrun with rats now that every rat catcher has been killed?
Probably, especially, imagine we get a siege and there's too many rats around and all the rat catchers are killed. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah.
All the food's getting eaten by, chewed up by all the rats, and they're breeding like crazy, and there's gonna be an insane, probably plague.
Yeah, that would be kind of crazy.
And then there's this guy, which I thought last episode just had gray hair. And he might, but it's like long, luxurious gray hair. Like, I don't know if he's supposed to be like a part Targaryen or what. But he's an iron worker. Is he supposed to be a bastard of maybe Viserys? Or fucking somebody? You know, I don't know what his deal. The fact that we're cutting back to him can't just be like, oh, this is the one commoner we know. I feel like there's more to him, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he might. It might be gearing up that he's going to like that. They're actually going to follow through and like pay him, and he's going to like build some stuff that's going to be instrumental in what's to come.
Yeah, he's building the scorpions, right? Which are the big ballista that shoot dragons down.
Yeah.
But obviously, that's his role as just a person in the world, but like I never considered. I guess maybe the lighting was different, or I just wasn't thinking about it. But he seemed important last episode in a weird way, but I thought it was just because of that. But now that we're cutting to him inside his home with his sick child and his wife, and they're talking about the city, is it just again to give us this perspective of somebody who's living in the conflict? Is that his only purpose, or does his super luxurious platinum blonde hair? Is it just gray hair, or is it like super luxurious platinum blonde hair, and he's actually like a Targaryen bastard as well? You know, I can't tell with him, but also, scene connection is important as well, because we go from this where that's, and then we go to these guys, which are probably, or not these two guys, which are very likely Valyrian bastard as well, or Valyrian, both, I guess. So, you know, is that placed here for that reason, or is it just a weird, like maybe they could have got a redheaded guy for this if they didn't want that kind of speculation? But I think the fact that, is this a wig? It kind of looks like one. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like there's something there. They can't just be like, it feels like they wouldn't just go to him.
Who is this man?
It feels like if they wanted to give especially with all the potential for confusion in the show with people not, you know, I'm sure like the average viewer maybe, I don't know, I could see if you're in a writer's room, or if you're like trying to present this scene and the whole purpose of it is to give a perspective of the common folk, you need to constantly be thinking, is this going to confuse the viewer if we give the guy long, luxurious platinum blonde hair, or gray hair, if it's just gray and white hair as a younger looking man? I feel like there's something there. Anyway, is all I'm saying. It seems intentional that he looks like that, but I don't know. And because it would also match if there's you know, the bastards on the Valyrian side, and then there's also a Targaryen bastard in the capital. And this, I don't even know if we fully got into the scene with Otto and Aegon, but it was so good as well. This episode was really good. I think we should just end it there. This is way too long.
Yeah. I feel like there's some good memes with like Kristen Cole standing there. It's just like when you're when you're at your friend's house and then their parents start yelling at them or something. He's just like standing there on the side and it's like, yeah, well he did that or something like that. I don't know.
Oh my god.
What a crazy episode.
Leave a like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.